Hello, it's me, your local non-binary witch, and I'm here to talk about why history matters. So recently I shared an article about the historical origins of Eostre and Easter, and a quick Google on the internet will find you a number of results telling you that, for example, Ostara is an ancient Celtic festival and other interesting conclusions. Now, there are many, many articles that go into the correct history of this festival. I'm not going to go into that now because what I want to talk about is why getting the history right is important. So nobody minds if you celebrate a particular festival in a particular way, if that's your personal way of celebrating that festival, or that's your tradition's way of celebrating that festival. The problem is when people claim things about history that just aren't true. For example, the idea that Ostara is an ancient name for the festival when it was only applied to the festival in 1974. And in fact, the idea that the Celts celebrated it seems very unlikely, seeing as Ostara was a back formation from Ostern, which is the German for Easter. So it coined by one of the brothers Grimm in the 19th century. So nope, definitely not Celtic and definitely not ancient. So anyway, why does this matter? It matters because we look like idiots if we go around sharing spurious, incorrect history. And it matters because if you care about your ancestors and what they really thought and did, then surely you want to get the history right and share what they actually thought and did, as opposed to some made-up version of it. And quite often, real folklore and real history is far more interesting and satisfying and just, complex than the made-up versions. So, you know, history is fascinating, folklore is fascinating, and it's always much more exciting and interesting than the made-up versions. Like, one of the interesting things discovered by Adrian Bott in his research around Eostre was that there were several different animals in 19th century folklore that were said to bring the eggs at Easter. One of them was the fox, and then there's also the stork and various other things. And they probably didn't make it onto, when once mass produced Easter cards started to be a thing, they're not as cute and fluffy as little chicks and little bunnies. So the whole tradition became homogenized into eggs and bunnies are the Easter thing, whereas different regions had different folklore for different reasons. And also, Eostre, there were different dawn goddesses all around Europe, all with different names, and they were local to their specific region. And, lumping them all together under the heading of Eostre fails to do justice to all these different local traditions. And I think that we need to get back to being specific about different mythology because people like to be connected to the place where they are and learn about the specific history of that place. And so having a sort of generic homogenized version of things isn't as good. I mean, look at the whole tradition of Father Christmas. Different countries had different ideas around what Father Christmas was. They had different names for him, and different companions who travelled with him, and all of those got homogenized under the big jolly man in a big red coat with fluffy trim that we now call Santa Claus. And I can remember as a child talking about Father Christmas and hearing about old Father Christmas in Morris plays. Mumming plays, not Morris plays. Mumming plays are usually performed by Morris sides, hence the confusion there. And I think it's important to maintain these lovely, distinctive local traditions. So, let's not be sharing folklore. Let's share genuine history and genuine folklore. Have a great day.